Hey guys, welcome back for another message on this particular platform. And as always, I'm super excited for each of you who've taken the time to sit here and receive the messages that our Heavenly Father gives me, and I in turn relay to you. And so today, the message is titled Flash. And so when you think about a flash, it goes really quickly. You see it, it's very bright. It helps capture a better glimpse of whatever's being captured. So you think about when a photographer takes a picture and they utilize the flash. The flash is going to show with clarity everything that it is capturing in that actual snap or that photo. And so it's very quick. It's very bright. And so the message is, if you blink, you will miss it. 8, 10, 15, flow. And so I was like, okay, well, what do these numbers mean? And so in dissecting each of these numbers, the 8 signifies perfection. So when you think about the number 8, it has no disconnective places or points in it. It is a perfect number, meaning there are no separate lines. There are not two separate numbers. It's one number that connects itself all the way throughout. So it is a number of perfection. So a season of perfection. And then the number 10 signifies sanctification and holiness. So the purification, the refining, the cleansing is pure, just like the light. And so can you see it? It's so pretty. So purification, just the sanctification, you're preparing to purify yourself, the sanctification of the perfection. And then the number 15 means to do good, to act rightly. All of these numbers from the Strong's Concordance, this is what they signify. And so perfection, sanctification, and holiness, and then to do good and act rightly. And so if you blink, you'll miss it. 8, 10, 15 flow. And so the Most High will be your navigation system to this place. He's going to be your navigation system to your next destination. So unlike previous seasons, it will not be map style. So what this means is you're not going to be able to pinpoint where he's taking you. You're not going to be able to identify what's going to come next. And it's funny, and I'm laughing because I'm in this season myself. So this message I didn't receive until now when I began to speak it. But this is for myself as well as for those that have been led here to receive this message. So unlike previous seasons, it will not be map style, but it will be a step-by-step procedural style and formation. So it's going to be a step-by-step procedures after each completion. So that means once you get, it's kind of like a phasing and a leveling up. So when you achieve new levels, spiritually speaking, when our Heavenly Father elevates you, sometimes it comes with like the full layout of, okay, well, this is your assignment. This is what I'm expecting for you to do. This is step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. Not in this situation. In this situation, it is going to be, I'm taking you on a journey. And then from this journey, I'm going to give you your first assignment. When you complete that, then you come back to me and I'll give you your next part. That's what type of journey he's taking you on. And so unlike the previous seasons, it's not going to be a map style, so you're not going to know exactly where you're going. You can't get a blueprint, or you don't have a full depiction of everything that's going to take place in this season either. And so this comes by way of each step being completed, like I just specified. And so when I was given this message, it came in a dream that I had recently stood out, where a close friend of mine was actually getting on a plane, and we ended up with a media crew. And the part that stands out about this plane and boarding this plane was not going through the airport or anything like that, because I don't know if you dream a lot or you're a dreamer, then you kind of would understand how dreams, a lot of times you're in the dream, but you're out of the dream, witnessing the dream too in the dream, if that makes sense. And so as I could see myself and this friend on the plane, as the plane was actually ascending, it was, through takeoff in ascension, it gets up, but I'm looking at the plane from the exterior of the plane as it's midair ascending. And all of a sudden, I see a crew member walking midair on the exterior part of a wing of the plane. So it was like a wing, but kind of like a running board type. I don't know if that even exists, but at the same time, this is what was in the dream. And this is like you're taking flight. And so for those of you that don't know, like spiritually speaking, anytime you see ascension or you see elevation, that's new territory. It's a greater height. And now I'm just getting that. And so this is, you're getting ready to go to a greater height. And so with that being the case, it may be some things that are unusual that go on. So with it being unusual, that's this guy walking on the exterior of this plane. It looks like it's a running board / wing, because typically everybody that's going to be on a plane and that's going to be carrying, a regular standard passenger is within the cabin. And so the door, he kind of goes in, and then he's on the plane, and then we get to the destination. And so after this destination, so we get on the plane. It ended up being a media crew where he was actually premiering a short film. A short film was being premiered, and the narrative. So it was like a short film, but it was like a narrative. It was like a depiction of like a narration. So like a documentary. And so for many of you, you're being called to mass media, production, solution-based assignments, things like that are what the focal points were when I received this message. So mass media is something that you're getting ready to partake in. Mass media is something that you are going to be benefiting our Heavenly Father in the kingdom, being propelled forward, because you're going to operate from a place of integrity and honesty. That was something that was kind of clarified to me as I've been on this journey in this season that's new. No, not today. Not today. And so, yeah. And so production as well. So producing things that are going to exemplify our Heavenly Father's kingdom. A lot of the times we don't realize that idea that He gives us as believers, as His children, as those carrying a spiritual light that is supposed to propel others forward. We don't realize that when we do not take the time to actually operate or fully complete those assignments or those ideas that, or the desires that He places on our heart, how it's a hindrance to production within the kingdom. Meaning, if He's giving you an idea for a design of a clothing line or a clothing brand, He wants you to operate from a place, spiritually speaking, that's going to glorify and honor Him, which means it's not going to be too revealing. It's not going to be skimpy. It's not going to be something that sexualizes or something that condones the spirit of darkness or the kingdom of darkness. And so that assignment, so production, it could be in the side of film, or it could just be producing an item, a tangible item to the community, to wherever you are. And so production. And then you have some of you are being assigned to solution-based assignments. I know I just came off of one, so I don't know if He's preparing me in this field with solution-based assignments being my primary focus, because for so long I've been educating, I've been advocating, I've been doing like just therapeutic things, helping people journey towards healing, but incorporating Him and what He desires them to be, getting away from like all of this toxic stuff and the things they fill up on through their gateways, becoming dependent upon substances and things like that. And so that's been my assignment for a long time, but at the same time moving in flow of where it is that He wants me to be. The solution-based assignments are becoming more frequent. So for many of you, that may be why you're seeing these type of assignments as it relates to you and what you carry. And so this means that you will have a brand which supplies a needs-based solution. People will need it, you will supply it, and it will navigate through being spiritually led step by step. That's how you're going to navigate through it, You will navigate through it, being spiritually led step by step. Educational systems are breaking down, people, and people aren't being sold on them anymore. And so perhaps you're going to be that person that stands in to teach people a skill, to teach people a trade, to teach people how to do things so that they are self-sufficient, but not depending on this broken system that people are now exposing, or now understanding that it was a deceptive practice, because he gives freely. He gives you your wisdom freely. He gives you your knowledge freely. So putting a price point on something that he said he gives freely was a system designed through deception to begin with. And so many people are catching on to that. So if you're great at something and he's called you to be great in that something, this is you. This is meant for you. This is what he means by the mass media. They will reach. You're going to reach the mass media, or be amongst the masses in the media aspect. That means in front of people visually. Social media, television, music, all of it. He is calling many of you to do that. You're his mouthpiece. You're his vessel. So allow him to use you as such. And then with the production, that's that tangible item or that tangible service. It's a solution-based assignment. So you may be the one that's giving the service for a problematic area. So the kids are out of school, but I'm not necessarily the best teacher. So I'm going to send them over here to Judy, because Judy's great at that. Judy is now offering a solutions-based assigned area to the people or the audience that she's actually supposed to be operating in. And so the solution-based assignments is going to combat a problematic area that is ongoing. And then for the production, like I said, that's many of you starting your own line of some sort, whether it be a food product that is going to be without all of these preservatives or fillers or things, dyes, and all the things that we know are now toxic and harmful to our bodies, that people are starting to get away from. He's relying on you heavily for that. And so he's telling you to do that. Return back to your trade. So many of you carry a trade already, but you've gotten away from it. So return back to your trade. The education systems are breaking down. So spiritual battles are taking place. We know that, at the end of the day, he's always going to be victorious. He always wins. He always triumphs. And so the victory has already been won, is what I'm hearing. And so spiritual battles are taking place. And then like the homeschooling being on the rise, which I've shared with you guys, I homeschool, I educate my children at home. And so people are not falling for the too good to be true, the bait and switch tactics anymore. So your services are needed. So whatever skill you have, whatever skill you possess, and whatever skill our Heavenly Father has placed on your heart, and now there we go again, the sun glooming and illuminating just like it's doing now. Let this be your confirmation. It is time for you to utilize that talent or that skill for him to be able to propel and position his people to receive everything that he knows they need. So your assignment is specific to you and what he's given you to carry, what he's given you to steward well over. So you need to go into your prayer time and ask him how he wants you to do it, but it's going to be a step-by-step thing. It's a navigational thing. It will be quick, so you do need to pay attention and listen. And then the trade, it's time to trade. And employment systems are being exposed. The designs of giving your best only to receive the worst has been exposed as well. And the kingdom way of employment equates to a balance of work, life, production, and productivity, and increase, guys, and wealth, not exhaustion, stagnancy, backsliding, and oppression. So for each of those areas that he gave me to speak on, he's showing you what the world tells you versus what he's shown you and told you, scripturally speaking, you're supposed to have access to. So this means you're not going to be drained. You're going to actually have energy because you're not going to overwork or overexert yourself. You're going to have a system that is designed by him, which he wants you to keep and uphold, and now reintroduce to yourself, to your children, to those that are working under you or with you, those that are coming up under you that you may be training to, start their own or start something new, but in a similar line of work, because you're called to the same mantle, but you may not be called to exemplify it the same way. So that'll make sense to those of you that is meant to stick for. And then, the kingdom way of employment, you're going to have balance, okay? Not exhaustion. You're not going to be overwhelmed. your life, your you're going to be productive, and you will be producing. It's not going to be stagnant. It won't backslide. So it won't keep, you won't take one step forward and then 10 steps back. It's not going to do that. So when you think of an economic system, okay, I got it. And so wealth is what he offers. Oppression is what the world offers. So for example, and when I said I got it, I'm hearing spiritually, the way that the world does things is, many of you may not be aware that when you get these raises once a year, is around the same time that you receive your benefits package or the open enrollment that the employer gets to write off on their taxes each year, but you're not locking in, or you're not in tune with what's actually happening. So you look at it as a benefit, and it's really not a benefit. It's a way to keep you looped in, to feed you just enough for you to say, okay, well, they're offering me something. But when in actuality, what's happening is you're getting an increase that's the same amount of the increase for the premiums that you're paying for each month. So you never see the increase. So it's designed for you to just remain stagnant, for you to stay at a standstill, for you to have just enough to be able to feed your family, or for you to be able to pay your bills check to check, but you never receive the wealth or the increase that he desires for you to have fully. For you to desire, for you to be able to be abundant. That's what it means for you to be abundant. It doesn't mean that you're supposed to have just enough. He didn't say, I just gave you just enough. He only did that with the Israelites in the Exodus season, because they were complaining, they were murmuring, they didn't understand the assignment of what they were exemplifying or what they were called to. But at the same time, you understanding this, because it's being fed to you right now and you're willing to receive it, you understand you don't have to be oppressed. You don't have to operate from a place of stagnancy. You don't have to just accept the pennies and crumbs that they're giving you, because he's giving you great things that you carry. He's giving you things that he wants you to be great in, that are going to propel you to your seasons of wealth, for you to be able to receive the riches and wealth and whatever level or capacity that he desires for you to receive it. That should not be your focal point, because when you are using your spiritual gifts and doing what you're supposed to do as instructed by him and established by him, he's going to allow you to receive well everything that he desires you to have. Everybody has different levels, and it's not the focal point. But what I'm saying is, he's going to allow it to be great for you, for what he's called to you, what he's assigned to you, what you steward over, what you are responsible for. He will allow that to be great for you in your own rights. And so that's my message for you guys. So yeah, I just wanted to get that out. And as always, I want you to take whatever part of this message stood out back to our Heavenly Father, so that you understand everything, the dynamics of what he's doing in this transitional period and what it looks like, because it is new territory for a lot of you guys. You may not have ever considered yourself an entrepreneurial person, but at the same time, this is exactly where he's calling you to, for the sake of his kingdom, to be able to be benefited, for the people that are in need, for his people to have what they need during this season of trial, during this season of everything just kind of going haywire. But he said that his grace is sufficient, that he would supply your every need. So a part of him doing that is utilizing the people that are within his kingdom. So once you understand that, it'll be easier for you to understand your assignments and take them seriously, and not to just kind of be wasteful with them, because you should never be wasteful with your gifts. You should never be wasteful with your time, the resources that he gives, or the talents that you've been given as well. And so let this message fill you up. And as always, I pray nothing but the best of all things heavenly in every area of your life. And I look forward to the next message, guys. As always, take care.